Because you already knew I was fine. You already knew I was in the church.
All right. Hey guys, it's FaithDuo.
Back with another video. We're a Christian couple talking about life, love, and faith. And today we're going to talk about finding the one.
Finding the right one.
The right one. Because you just don't want to find anybody. But first,
FaithDuo's featured fact.
so in the Matrix second movie, Agent Smith or Neo's license plate number is IS 5416. And that's for Isaiah 54:16, and it says, if you look that up, it says, "Behold, I have created a smith," or a blacksmith. And he's talking about, but it says he created a smith. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
That movie tied that in like that, and I think it does have some more verses tied in for other license plates as well.
Really?
For the Matrix. So
Wow.
it's pretty cool. All right, so finding the right one, we start dating other people, right? And so looking at the dating part of what's your goals, like what's your end goal for that?
Yeah. What do you want out of the relationship? That's
Right.
the first thing.
Yeah.
Since you're finding the right one, then you're not really dating to have fun. So you need to ask whoever you're
dating.
gonna try to date, you need to ask
Yeah.
them if they want to have fun or are they dating for a future.
Right, because there's so many people out there today that just want to have fun and date around or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's
It's
just
not fun. Honestly.
yeah, it's not fun for the people that are looking for their future mate.
And then if you don't establish that, you can waste so much time, and it might be your fault because they were like, yeah, well, we're in this relationship, but we didn't say what we wanted. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing is like, my biggest thing is like, people say like, oh, you don't want to settle down so fast. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to make so many memories with somebody I'm not gonna be with the rest of my life.
That's a good point.
I want to make memories with someone from that's just gonna be
Who's
there.
gonna be down with you the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to waste time.
Exactly.
Time is the greatest asset that we have. So,
Right. Playing. How did you know I wasn't playing and you weren't playing?
well, I knew going into it that I wasn't playing.
Okay. What about
like
me?
when we made it official,
Right.
I guess I didn't. We didn't really establish or talk about like going into the relationship. So, I guess that's something that we could have done better.
Actually, we did talk about it.
Did we?
Yes. Because when we first started dating, you were like, this better not be just a crush. And then when I really started liking you, I was like, I remember I was sitting at Arby's with my grandparents and I was like, I'm not just dating for fun. I literally said that and you were like, well, I'm not just playing around either. And we were like texting and stuff together when we.
Well, I guess
but
I
we
think
did
I do remember.
Okay, so you do remember.
It's
we
been such a long time.
So then after you establish that you want to date for a future, then that's when you seriously get into making memories with the person and figuring out who they are and what they want for their future.
You're trying to get to know who they are and what they represent, basically what their core is. Yeah, their core, their values, what makes them tick, what's their makeup.
Yeah, and you need to figure out what makes them happy or what doesn't make them happy, if they want kids, if they don't want kids, because that's how you find the right one. Because you don't want to, eventually maybe either be with somebody and figure out after a while that they don't want the same things you want.
Well, I think that's why it's so important to go to, when you, get to that point, is premarital counseling, because that makes you ask a lot of questions and figure out, okay, I'm going to be with this person for life. What do they want, or how do they respond to what I want?
That's a good one. How do they respond? Because some people, they're not as open as other people. So you have to kind of like, if they're worth it, you have to kind of, work with and dig in, But another thing I was going to say is that as far as getting to know someone, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, people change. But when you're finding out who someone is, they can either be open or totally against it. And if they're open, like, I don't know what I want now, but I definitely open to it. You know, they need to be upfront and honest. If you don't like kids, then don't say that you want kids. That's not a good thing.
To do that.
And another thing is you need to think about what you want. You have to know at least what interests you or what makes you happy or stuff like that, so you can figure out like if that person's suited for you.
But going back to you saying you have to know what you want, and I think it's important that while you're not dating or while you're not finding the right one, is work on yourself. Make sure you know what you want. Make sure you got it together first, and then you can be looking for other people or looking for that right one that you want to be with.
Definitely meeting the family will tell you a bunch.
Yeah, definitely meeting with the family is going to tell you a lot.
Right.
Because that's who they're naturally around, or naturally comfortable with.
Right.
And they'll give you
Definitely.
the clues.
You'd be like, oh no, when you go to their house, you'd be like, you go meet their mama or their dad or their brothers or sisters.
Right.
You'd be like, oh no,
Well, what did you think about my family when you hung out with all of us?
I didn't know that they were real people, basically. That's what I mean.
She didn't know my personality.
Right. And most Christians, if you just go to church with somebody, you're just going to think that that's all they are. And that's what I thought. Like, of course you're a Christian, but you're a normal human being. Like, we're all living life as a Christian. That's it. That's the real key, because I thought you was just a Christian. I didn't know you were a person, babe.
Well, I was a person.
Okay. So.
Had real feelings.
So, but they had me a part of their Christmas. So I knew like family was important to Raph, because like, you know, he went out and got presents for everybody. So I knew that.
I did.
Yeah. We definitely took a lot of time getting to know each other. We were in a relationship for, I guess, I don't know how long, 2011, 2014, so about 3 years. And you gotta know, like, if the person wants to go off a lot, if they're not gonna be able to sit around and stuff, because like,
what's the activity level?
Right.
Because if somebody wants to go all the time and somebody doesn't,
I feel like the dog or something, you gotta know their activity level. But yeah, it's so serious, because me and Raph, we can just like we both love to go off, but we love to be at home the same.
So taking a look deeper into the core values, being a Christian, you want to make sure that y'all are going to go to the same church, going to the same church at the same time, like for worship and Bible class. And so that's important to get to know be on the same page for that, especially when kids come involved too. That's just a whole different story.
It is. It's so important.
But don't go into a relationship thinking you're going to change that person, because that's a mistake that a lot of people make, and they're unhappy. So make sure you're going into a relationship knowing who that person is, what they stand for, what they represent, and how
what they're open to.
Yeah, what they're open to. So we get to the point of, how do we know they're the right one for you? So how did you know that I was the right one for you? Because you already knew I was fine. You know, I already knew I was in the church.
All right.
Church.
I feel like when we first got together, it's like, I feel like we just connected so well. And I had no idea that we would connect that way. And we still do connect that way. We'll just be like, whoa, don't. You know, sometimes a lot of times we're like, get out of my head. Like, all the time we just connect. And you definitely want that connection. That's so important, and somebody that you can grow with. And then the facts were that you were a Christian man, faithful to God, so I knew you would be faithful to me. And then you were also treated your mama good, so I knew you would treat me good.
So how I knew you were the one was, I knew I loved you. Of course, that's a feeling. And then I didn't want to hurt you or ever want to hurt you. And I knew your core values. I knew that you love God, you loved your family, and you had that high up in your priorities. So that was definitely a big thing for me. And I knew that I could spend my rest of my life looking at that gorgeous face of yours.
Oh, okay. Thank you, babe. I guess saying that, what's a good standard to set? If your friend wants to come to say, like, how do you know when they're the one? What would you say?
You're definitely gonna know. I mean, you're gonna feel it. Number one, you're gonna know this is the right person. And I know I can spend the rest of my life with them because you know them. You know what the core values are. You hung out with them. You talk to them, and you know what they're, like you said, what they're open to as well. And that's how you're gonna know. That's it. Period.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I know people make mistakes, but with whatever mistake they make in your relationship as you're dating, it shouldn't be a mistake that causes you to question, because you don't want to go into a marriage questioning. And so definitely the connection, knowing, no questions about it, and who that person is, and their love for God and stuff like that. So with all this being said, we just want you to be intentional about your dating. And there's a good scripture that kind of ties with being intentional about just living in general.
So Ephesians 5:15 says, "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of time because the days are evil." So definitely be intentional about how you're walking. Be wise in your decision making. Don't rush anything, and work on yourself as well.
All right, that's all we have for you today.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you. We love you. Be the light.